Hi everyone and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today I'm making a vampire house in Forgotten Hollow, and this is going to be the house that I'll be using in my Vampires Let's Play, which should be starting pretty soon. So I will be talking about the Sims that I'm going to be using in that in this video and also the second part of the speed build because yeah, this house ended up taking so long to make that I just decided to split it into two parts, which I didn't think was going to happen when I first went into it because I was just thinking this would be a little bit of a, kind of a smaller Victorian home, but then it just ended up being bigger than I thought it was going to be, and then there ended up being a lot of furnishing because in addition to the first and second level, I also furnished the attic, which I wasn't originally planning to do, and then there's also a basement in it, which isn't something I've done in house builds, but I just felt like since this is supposed to be a vampire build that it should probably have a basement where I could put coffins and stuff like that for them to sleep in. And I also had so much fun with using all the new items in this build that I just went all out with the furnishing, and I was very detailed, and there's a lot of clutter everywhere. Because I really wanted the Sims in this Let's Play just have kind of a cluttered house, and also I love building this house because this is the style that I feel is really my strength, because I just like building older homes that have a very cluttered and lived-in look. So this is a build where I didn't really get stuck much, because when I build I tend to reach points where I just get really stuck on what I'm doing, but yeah, that didn't really happen with this build because I was just so into it, and it just what to do came to me so easily, and like I said, I was just having a blast with using all the new items because there's a lot of items that are really great for making detailed Victorian homes. Like there's just some things that you could put on the outside of the house like the dormers, and there's those gargoyle statues, which I didn't end up using because I didn't feel like they were right for this house because I see them as more of a castle thing, and this is a Victorian house, so yeah, I didn't end up using those, but yeah, there's just lots of nice decorative touches, and also all the cobwebs and the cracks in the walls and the areas that make it look like the drywall's ripped up. I just think it's so cool, and I like that you can use it with any kind of wallpaper, because when I first saw that, I was thinking that maybe it was something that just came with certain wallpapers, but no, I like that it just goes with anything, so you can really make homes that look dilapidated and abandoned, which is just something I've been wanting. So, yeah, next year for my Halloween build, I think I'm definitely, well, not next year because it's technically this year, but for next Halloween, I'm definitely going to be doing an abandoned house or something that's abandoned, because the past couple of Halloweens I did community lots. So now that we got this stuff, you could definitely make a really, much more realistic abandoned house. So pretty excited about that. Yeah, so right now I'm just working on the roof near the turret area, there's kind of a tricky method here, which you can see, and hopefully you can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. It's not perfect because unfortunately as it goes around it looks like the roof's getting higher, which just bugged me, and I was trying to figure out how to fix it, but I couldn't, so I just left it, and I figured that once I got all the landscaping and wallpaper and all that in, that hopefully it wouldn't be that noticeable. But yeah, this is just me trying to fix that because I was like, this looks weird. But yeah, that's a little trick for trying to get an octagonal roof, since that's not something that The Sims 4 has, and hopefully that's something they fix. But yeah, it's kind of hard to explain exactly what that was that I just did, but yeah, I think you could get the gist of it from watching the video. But as far as when the Let's Play is going to be starting, my original plan was to start it this coming Friday, but I think I'm going to have to push that back a bit, so sorry about that to those of you who've been patiently waiting for this to start, but I just need some more time to work on things because I haven't had as much time to work on the Let's Play as I thought I would over the past couple of weeks, because this build took longer than I thought it was going to make, because I thought it was just going to be this little Victorian house, but no, it ended up being a pretty big one, so it ended up being a two-part speed build, which I didn't think was going to happen, and then this past weekend was pretty busy, and then this current one that I'm uploading this video on is going to be pretty busy too. So yeah, I just need some more time because I really want to take my time with setting up things, and I don't want to be stressed out and trying to rush it to get the first part up next Friday. Because yeah, I don't want to be stressed out when I'm going to record the first part of our Let's Play, because that won't really be very good. So yeah, I feel like it'd be better just take my time with things and be a little more relaxed, but I don't think I'm going to need to push it back a full week. So I think what I might do is, because I think what I really need is another weekend rather than a whole week. So what I'm hoping I could do is get it up, not this coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that, and then I'll have the second part up on Friday, because I want this Let's Play to regularly be up on Fridays. And since I'm not going to be starting it this coming Friday, I think I'll just upload an apartment build instead, because I want to have something up on Friday, but I just want it to be something quick. Because I will be trying to work on starting this Let's Play, and I had an apartment build that I finished, I already edited up the footage and everything, so I just need to record the commentary, which shouldn't take too long. So yeah, I think that's something I can get up on Friday. So there's something going up that day. But yeah, it's only gonna be like a week, if that I'm gonna be pushing it back. So hopefully that's fine. I know I'm starting a little late after the release of the game pack, but I think that's fine. And I'm pretty excited for this weekend because I'm going to get to try out the Nintendo Switch early. It's not anything YouTube related because I'm not big enough for that kind of stuff, and also I don't do anything Nintendo related. They just sent out emails to some people who I guess use their Nintendo account pretty frequently. I'm not sure what the criteria was for that. But yeah, we get to go in and try out the Switch a few weeks early. I'm not sure how exactly the event's going to work. I guess they just have Switches around with different games in them and you get to just try them. I'm not sure if it's just launch titles or if it's stuff that releases later on, but yeah, I'm glad to do that because we did pre-order a Switch and we weren't exactly sure what games to get to have on the release day, so we'll be able to try out some stuff ahead of time and see what we want to get. I'm kind of hoping they have games that aren't just launch titles because I wanted to try out Splatoon 2, so I don't know, maybe that'll be there. But yeah, we weren't sure whether to get the one game 1-2 Switch, or there was also that ARMS game, which, I don't know, the ARMS game doesn't really seem super exciting. I don't know, maybe there's more to it than just like the punching and boxing type stuff, but that game didn't really excite me too much, but who knows, maybe if I try it, I'll like it a little bit more. And yeah, we also weren't sure about the 1-2 Switch game because it seems really cool, but it also kind of felt like something that should have been packaged with the Switch, because usually, like with the Wii, I think they had Wii Sports that came with it. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe Wii Sports didn't come with it. But I know the Wii U had Nintendo Land, but it usually comes with some kind of game package with it that shows off the features. And I thought 1-2 Switch was going to be that game, but no, it's like a separate game that's $40 or $50. And yeah, we weren't sure if we wanted to pay that much for something that feels like it's kind of like a Nintendo Land-like game, but I don't know, maybe there's more to that. But yeah, I forget what other release titles there were going to be. I feel like I should know that, but I haven't really been keeping too close track of what games are going to be release titles for the Nintendo Switch. My boyfriend's the one who more so keeps track of Nintendo game releases, so he would know that better than me. But yeah, pretty looking forward to that. So this will be a fun weekend because of that. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to leave me with a whole lot of as much time to do video-related things as I wanted, but yeah, I'm hoping to get some work done for the Let's Play this weekend. I haven't even made The Sims yet, so hopefully I'll have time to do that. Yeah, I feel like I should have made The Sims already at this point, but I've at least been thinking a lot about how I want them to be, and I've kind of been thinking a little bit about how I want them to look, but yeah, I just still haven't actually gotten in and made them. I'm also not sure of what I want some of their names to be. So actually, if any of you have any ideas for vampire names, you can feel free to leave them below. I might use some of those in the Let's Play. But as far as what I've been planning for The Sims, I'm going to be playing with a family because I just really wanted to have this Let's Play be about a large family, since the past couple of Let's Plays I started have been about young adults. So really want to do something other than that and just play with families again because it's been a little while since I've done that. So my thoughts were that there would be 2 parent vampires and that they would have a teenage son and then a younger daughter and a toddler as well. And then there's also going to be a teenage girl who's living with them who is also a vampire, but she isn't actually part of the family. But I don't want to go too into why she's living to them because that's kind of the main plot point of this Let's Play. So I don't want to give that away because I want to leave that a surprise. I also wanted them to have a butler because I still haven't played with butlers. So figure since they're living in this pretty big house, it'd be good for them to have a butler. But I actually didn't want them to have a good butler. I wanted to have them to have a butler who's kind of bad at their job because there are cobwebs all over the house, so I feel like it wouldn't make much sense to say that they have this butler who's great at cleaning, but then there's just cobwebs all over the place. So I was thinking about giving him some negative traits, like maybe the lazy trait or something else, and just, yeah, he's not the greatest butler, but he's been with the family for years, so they keep him around. And I also just want him to be this kind of creepy looking, grouchy old guy. That's just what I envisioned. It's kind of like you see in some movies, although I know I've seen like horror movies with creepy butlers in them, but I can't remember specifically which ones. But yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted for this butler. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have him be a vampire or not because I wanted this family to be secluded from humans, so I wasn't sure if I wanted them to have a human butler, because I was thinking maybe it could just be an ancient vampire, or I could have a human butler and then they use him as a human juice box route, although I feel kind of mean about that. And I also wanted them to be more so vegetarian vampires who use plasma fruit rather than actually biting humans, although I probably will have one of the Sims be into actually going and biting Sims to get plasma. because I wanted their younger daughter to be an evil sim who they're a little bit worried about. They're a little bit worried about how she's going to be once she ages up into a teenager and gets her powers and all that because of how she is as a child. So I'm thinking that when she ages up into a teen, then maybe she could actually go out and bite Sims for plasma, unlike the rest of her family. Yeah, so I was thinking something along those lines. And I'll probably get more into specifics on the Sims in the next part because in this part we'll just be doing the whole building of the outside of the house and then the furnishing of the first floor, and then the next part will be furnishing all the bedrooms and the attic and the basement and all that. So I'll get more into some details on the Sims in that part since we'll actually be furnishing all of their rooms. But yeah, I'm really excited about the ideas that I have for this Let's Play. I'm just looking forward to getting into and learning more about the Vampires game pack because unfortunately I haven't had a whole lot of time to play around with vampires, so I'm really looking forward to getting in and learning more about all the powers and weaknesses and all of that stuff and learning more about the vampire lore skill. And I'll probably have all the Sims except for, or you know, all the older, the vampire parents and the teenage boy. I'll probably have them have their vampire lore vampire lore skill built up some, because I feel like it wouldn't make a lot of sense if you had these older vampires and they had no vampire lore skill built up. So I'll probably put them at level 10 or 11, and then the teenage boy will be at level 5 or 6 or something like that. So they have some skills built up and stuff like that. So it won't be all Sims just learning from the beginning. So I figured the ones who are higher up can teach the other ones more. Getting back to the build, we're working on the landscaping now, which isn't really that spectacular because there's just a bunch of dead-looking plants everywhere, which did come with the game pack, so I was really happy when I saw that they came with that because when I was working on my last Halloween build, I was just really wishing there was dead and scraggly-looking trees for that, but unfortunately there weren't, but now there are, so yeah, that'll be another really nice thing to have for the next Halloween build that I do. But yeah, we're moving around to the back now. And I decided, so I was trying to put a pedestal with one of the statues on top of it, but for whatever reason, it wouldn't really, it just kept jumping up to the deck level, because I guess it's 4 tiles wide, so I just had to put those roof decorations in. So I did actually use the gargoyle roof decorations there, but yeah, I thought that looked kind of neat. So there isn't really a whole lot going on in the backyard. We just have a little patio, or not patio bench, a little park bench that, why am I blanking on what that's called? Picnic table, there we go. Yeah, we just got a picnic table, and then some monkey bars, and also some gardening boxes, because I really wanted one of the Sims to be into gardening, which is kind of ironic because they're really into gardening, but then they have a bunch of dead plants elsewhere in their yard. But then again, to be fair, roses are really hard to take care of from what I've heard. I think those are supposed to be dead rose bushes. But yeah, I've heard that rose bushes are ridiculous to take care of because the house that I'm renting at one point had a rose bush somewhere in the yard, but my landlord told me that apparently like when they had kids they had to stop. They just kind of let the rose bush die because it was too hard to maintain. Like apparently, like I think they even said like you can either have kids or you can have a rose bush. So yeah, they had to let the rose bush go after that. But yeah, I didn't realize that rose bushes were so ridiculous to take care of because apparently like they would go on vacation and then his mom would have to come over and take care of the rose bush while they were gone because I guess they get little aphids on them that she'd pick off or something like that. So yeah, that made me never want to try to grow roses. So yeah, I guess they just focus on things that are easier to take care of and just let the rose bushes die. But that's it for the whole outside of the build, so now we're moving on to the inside. I'm just figuring out the layout of the place. So yeah, we've got the layout of the first floor done. I'm just putting a basement there underneath that so I could place the stairs going down into it. So on the first floor we have a living room area that also has a pipe organ in it, and then there's a kitchen, dining room, there's a study, and then there's a little indoor-outdoor room that has it ends up having some more planter boxes in that, so just kind of a continuation of the garden from outside. Because I think I'm just gonna have both of the parent vampires be into gardening because there's a lot of garden boxes. So yeah, I think we're gonna need to have both of them focus on that. Because yeah, there were some things that you can make at the bar, some different elixirs and such. I think you actually have to grow some plants for that. So I figured it would be useful to have them be into gardening. But yeah, we're just moving down to the basement now to figure out the layout of that. So down the basement is kind of a crypt area where there's just a bunch of coffins, and then there's also the bedroom for the butler, and then there's the bedroom for the teenage girl down there too, because she was kind of, she came along, and by the time she came along, all the good bedrooms in the house were taken, so they just kind of put her down in the basement in a spare room that they had down here that I'd imagine was once used for storage. Yeah, and then on the second floor, we of course have 3 bedrooms, and then the top floor, or the attic level of it, is going to be the teenage son's bedroom. Because, yeah, I had all that space in there, and I wasn't originally going to furnish it, but I figured it was too much space to let go to waste, so I thought it'd be good to actually do something with that. But, yeah, we're just finishing up the outside with all of the nighttime lighting, and now moving on to the interior. So, yeah, just putting in flooring because I wanted to make sure I used all the different floorings. And usually in builds, I like to use the same flooring throughout, but this isn't supposed to be a perfect showroom house, so I figured it'd be fine to have different floorings in different rooms. And we've got this red carpet in the main living room area, and then I ended up putting red wallpaper on the wall, so it's just overwhelmingly red. But then again, this house is supposed to be a little bit ugly in some ways. Again, it's not a perfect showroom house. I mean, as you'll see when I get into it, because there ends up being some of those cracks all over the walls, and you've got spots where it looks like the wallpaper's ripped up, and there's cobwebs all over the place, which is why I named this Crumbling Victorian, because it just looks kind of like the house is crumbling in some spots. So here I'm putting in some of those decals, and my thoughts on why these Sims are letting their house fall into disrepair, and why they're letting there be cobwebs all over the place, is that they're just so preoccupied with other things that they just don't really focus on it. They don't really care about it too much. They just got other priorities, so they kind of let the condition of their house go because they're just so into their hobbies and their jobs. Because as far as jobs go, I was thinking that rather than having them actually have a job, that they could be more so self-employed. Like, one of them could be a writer and the other one could be a painter, and that's how they make their money, because I didn't want them to have a job that would involve them going and being around humans potentially, because I like I mentioned earlier, I wanted them to be kind of secluded from humans, so I want them to just be contained in Forgotten Hollow. So I figured having more of a self-employment type of job would be better for that. So yeah, they could be, maybe the one who paints could be into making drearier looking paintings, like maybe paintings of the landscape in Forgotten Hollow, and the other one could write books about vampire lore or something like that. So I just saw them being really wrapped up in that. And then as far as why they keep the butler around when he doesn't really do their job, I just figured, like I said, he's been in the family so long that he's a part of the family pretty much, and they just kind of keep him around. So that was another reason why I was leaning more towards perhaps having him be a vampire. But yeah, I was thinking about still making him a human. But anyway, we took care of the part of the room that had the pipe organ in it, because we had to include that somewhere. So that'd be nice to put that here in the living room area. And I really wanted to have not a vampire somewhere. There's gonna be vampires somewhere in the house, but I really wanted to have a fireplace somewhere in the house. But unfortunately, I didn't end up putting one anywhere because I couldn't really find a good spot to put one in, because I wanted to have a fireplace in the living room area, but then with how I had it shaped, that wouldn't have really worked out well, because I didn't want to have a fireplace against a staircase, because that doesn't really make much sense, because where's the chimney gonna go? Because if I placed a fireplace, I want it to be somewhere where I could realistically have a chimney. Although that doesn't really matter too much. They don't need to have chimneys in this game, but still, it just didn't really work out well with the layout of the living room to put one in here. So yeah, just trying to figure out the color of the sofas, because I was trying to find things that went with red, without actually making more things red, because I just figured there was enough red in this room anyway that I just didn't need to go adding in more. And I did originally have the couches be black, but then I figured that was just a little bit too dark, because while I wanted this house to have more dark colors in, I didn't want everything to be black. So yeah, I figured the gray looked a little bit better. And they do have a TV, although it's an older TV, because I wanted them to have some technology, but I wanted what technology they have to look very outdated, like they're a bit behind the times, but then they have some things so that, I don't know, maybe they can watch TV occasionally. So yeah, we just have that more out-of-date TV. We're just getting in all the decorations and such in the room. Oh, and then we also got the radiator back behind where the couch is, which was another decoration that I was pretty happy to see, because that's another nice little realistic detail that you can add into older homes. So yeah, here I was just trying to figure out what to do to finish off the room, because I wanted to have some stuff there, but then I was worried about making the room look too cluttered, especially since you just got red everywhere, so I didn't want to make things look too busy. And yeah, just getting in more of those decals to make the house look a little bit more dilapidated. So just sticking in a bunch of spider webs everywhere. So that'll be nice when we're in live mode and there's gonna be spiders crawling around everywhere. So that's gonna be fun to look at. I think at this point I was almost done with the living room. Yeah, just finishing up adding in those decals. Oh yeah, getting a few decorations here on the TV stand. Just again, trying to find things to not make things look super cluttered. And also put a bar in there because I remember that I should probably have the bar so that I could have them potentially make those elixirs. Because I can't remember what exactly there was. I think you could make a cure for vampirism, but I don't think I'm going to use that. And I think there's something you can make so that they could stand sunlight for a little bit, if I remember. But yeah, there's just some neat things that they can make to help them out a little bit. So I wanted to try that out some. So yeah, again, that's why I was having them garden all of that. But we're on to the dining room now. So yeah, I used the wood flooring that came with the game pack in here, which I really like. Also using the table that comes with it. I don't know how often I'm going to be having them actually sit down here and eat though, because mostly they're probably just going to be drinking plasma packs and eating plasma fruit, but there were some recipes that they could make with plasma in it, because I think there's plasma salad and then there was some other stuff, but I can't remember what exactly the other things they could make were, but yeah, I mean, maybe sometimes I'll have them make that stuff so that they can have a nice family meal together. But yeah, I was glad that they added some plasma recipes in that you could have them make also. Oh, and something else I was trying to do with those decals was taking the ones that look like water stains and then sticking them around windows where you could actually see the wallpaper underneath them. So it just looked like the windows in this house are leaking, so then the walls underneath them are just all water stained. I'm not sure if I did that in this room yet. I think I haven't. Oh yeah, I'm doing it now. So yeah, we just got that under both those windows. Because I didn't do that in the other room because you couldn't actually see underneath the window because those curtains just block out everything. But yeah, you can see under these, so I just thought that would be a nice touch to show that this house just really isn't in the best shape. So yeah, here's where I was just putting the decorations in and starting to get all of those details around the room. Oh, and here I remember that there was a larger chandelier that came with the game pack, so I thought that would be a little better to use in the dining room than sizing up the other one, although it does hang a little low because I think it works a little better if you have the larger wall height. But I mean, there's a table there, so they're not going to be walking under there anyway, so figured it was fine to have that. And then I wasn't really sure what to do with this area. It's just kind of this awkward area next to the bathroom, so I just stuck a bunch of books here. Like, it was just various books that they left throughout the house, like maybe vampire tomes or something like that. So I actually stuck books in other places in the house just to look like, I guess, you know, they just have different books, old books all over the place. And then also put some cobwebs there as if they just stuck the books there and hadn't really looked at them in a while. So, you know, spiders made some cobwebs over them. And yeah, I was going to put them on the ceiling, but then I decided not to do that in this room. But yeah, I think there's not too much more to the dining room, just getting in all the little wall details throughout the place. So that took up a good bit of time with the building because, you know, after I finished each room, I then went around, just added in those decals throughout it just to add more of that detail. Oh, and then in this corner, I was trying to figure out what to do because I remember there were some other vampire decorations that I could use. So I put that urn there, but I think eventually I go back and, oh yeah, I did go in at some point and I replaced it with the grandfather clock. Yeah, there's a little bit that I actually forgot to include in the video, but yeah, we're done with the dining room. So now it's on to the kitchen, which I really like. It's a pretty dark kitchen and it's actually closed off its own room, which isn't what I usually do because I tend to just make more open layouts. But yeah, I figured this is a house that would just work better with a layout that was more closed off and compartmentalized, with, you know, just each room being in its own room. So yeah, we just have this tiny, dark little kitchen, and I really like those counters that came with vampires. Yeah, so I just use those in the green color just to get a little more color in the room. And also use those parquet floors too. I thought about using the tiles, but I didn't really like how they looked with the cabinet. I just thought they looked a little bit too busy, so I figured for this room it'd be better to use the parquet flooring, although that might not necessarily be the best thing for a kitchen, but oh well. Yeah, just adding in different details and such around the kitchen. So I put in a bunch of those jar items from Dino. I thought that was a nice look for that. I was going to put spider webs over that, but then I thought, nah, that doesn't really make much sense because that's probably something that they would be grabbing a lot, and Yeah, I don't think spider webs on the counter is really the best idea. Yeah, so here I was just getting some more of those things, and I believe the kitchen's done. So we're moving on to the half bathroom. I figured this turret area would just be a good space to run to bathroom, although it's kind of a big half bathroom, but figured we didn't really need a full bathroom down here, so just furnished this kind of quickly. Yeah, didn't really put too much in. We just got the basic sink and toilet thing going on. And then I think a chair as well, although I don't think there really needed to be a chair in here, but I was trying to figure out how to fill up space. And it was kind of difficult to do since this was such a big room that I turned into a half bathroom, but I think it turned out fine in the end. So we're just about done with this. And after that, we just got a couple more rooms in here to furnish. So we've got this area right out here, which is kind of an indoor-outdoor room. I just used that that stone wall on it, since I imagine it was kind of an area that was added onto the house. And I just used that stone because I like that. It looked kind of like shingles from far away. Because I was really hoping that the skate pack would come with more distressed looking shingle wallpaper, because that's something I've been really wanting. But it didn't, so I figured that was something that from a distance looked like that, so it'd be fine. And also just putting in some of the ivy on the inside of it, because again, I figured since this was something that was added on, that maybe some of the ivy would have grown through it or would have already been there or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to put that in the house, but yeah, I figured it would work fine to put that there. And I did go back later on, I think it was in the second part, and I replaced that big plant with a smaller object and then also another garden box, so they have one that's inside. I think it was a couple that I replaced it with, yeah, because I just realized that thing was taking up a lot of space and there's probably better, more useful things that I could put out there. Also stuck a bonsai tree out there as well, which isn't something that I normally put in builds, but figured that would be another good, useful thing to put in there. So now we're moving on to the study, and I was trying to put a fireplace in the bookshelf because I figured maybe that would work, but yeah, it didn't quite work because you can see the bookshelf inside the fireplace, and that just kind of bugged me, so didn't want to do that. But yeah, with the study, I decided to go with a purple color scheme for it, just to do something different than the blacks and reds that have been used so far in this house. Figured it'd be good to just break up the reds a little bit. And I also stuck a closet in the room, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best thing because there's no closets in any of the bedroom, but then there's a closet in the study, which is probably kind of weird, but I had that 2x2 space at the end of the stairwell that I wasn't really sure what to do with, so I figured a closet would fit in there nicely, so I just stuck it in there. I don't know, something else I maybe could have done was make it into a half bathroom, but we already had one on this floor, so I didn't think that was really necessary to do, so yeah, that's what I ended up doing with that. And yeah, I think this room's almost done, and actually this whole video's almost done. So yeah, as usual, I just want to mention that if you want to download this, there'll be a link to do so in the description. I'll have other stuff in there, how to find in-game. And oh yeah, also as far as when the next part's going to be up, it should be up tomorrow around the same time this part went up, so 2 p.m. Eastern USA time. So yeah, keep an eye out for that if you want to watch the rest of this build. But yeah, I'm going to leave off here, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and bye!